By 2028, researchers project that artificial intelligence alone could consume as much electricity every year as 22% of all American households. To handle that draw, tech giants are preparing to spend over $500 billion on massive, centralized data centers. They are asking the grid for an additional 50 gigawatts of dedicated power. But the financial weight of this rapid expansion is quietly shifting onto the monthly utility bills of everyday citizens. Look at Virginia, the densest data center corridor in the world. Residential ratepayers there could soon see an extra $37.50 added to their bills every single month, strictly to subsidize the energy costs of these corporate server farms. This diagram shows exactly where all that computing power is going. Notice the small section on the left. That is the energy used to actually train AI models. The massive bar on the right, taking up 80 to 90% of the total, is used entirely for inference, which is the AI answering queries and making decisions after the model is already trained. Running that much inference through our existing infrastructure creates a massive thermodynamic bottleneck. The grid isn't struggling because AI is inherently too large. The strain comes from how we've been forced to move the data. For 20 years, the internet operated on Layer 2, an extractive system built for static websites, sucking raw data from local devices and hoarding it in centralized cloud data lakes. Forcing active AI inference inside that cloud collides with privacy laws like GDPR and HIPAA. These legal regulations prohibit corporations from freely pooling your dynamic personal data. The information is fractured into isolated silos, legally blinding the AI and preventing it from cross-referencing physical reality. Because the AI cannot verify a single physical event across these isolated silos, it begins to double count. One real person in crisis, or one actual supply chain delay, is recorded across the network as 10 distinct demand spikes. These are exponential ghosts. Tech giants are looking at these multiplied numbers and building massive infrastructure to accommodate them. They are calculating their power needs based on an unverified, hallucinated population that does not physically exist. They are securing 50 gigawatts of power just to maintain massive rooms of dead historical data, burning energy to process inference for a phantom reality. Main Street is sacrificing the stability of its local power grids and bleeding defensive capital to fund a $500 billion architectural hallucination. You cannot solve a physical power shortage by pouring more concrete or building bigger data lakes. The solution requires completing the global internet stack by deploying Layer 3. Instead of extracting raw data from local devices up to a centralized cloud, Layer 3 reverses the spatial flow. It pushes the algorithmic query outward, directly down to the local data. This is done using a Helix Mesh Processor, deployed securely behind a corporation's own firewall at the edge node. The local processor natively ingests the raw data on site. It extracts only the mathematically verified causal pattern, the actual useful insight, without ever needing to pool sensitive human data. Once that geometric pattern is extracted, the processor executes a digital sweep. It annihilates the raw data in memory. Only the cryptographic truth is synced back to the broader network, guaranteeing absolute privacy and removing corporate liability. By verifying the truth locally at the edge, the system automatically deduplicates those exponential ghosts. The hallucinated AI demand collapses back down to a strict 1-to-1 ratio with physical reality. By making massed raw data storage obsolete, this architecture allows hyperscalers to begin shedding their bloated cold storage data lakes. This process frees up the trapped megawatts they need for active computing, reducing the burden on the utility grid. Without this shift, utility companies are forced to construct new, highly polluting power plants simply to keep the lights on while feeding phantom data servers. Pouring $500 billion into legacy data centers attempts to brute force a physical crisis using a phantom map. Aligning our infrastructure with physical reality changes the math of the energy boom.